a small band of men on a perilous search for the man-beast of Tibet, the abominable snowman of the Himalayas. You've heard of him, haven't you? The world's most shocking monster. No one's ever lived who's seen him. Be on your guard. He's coming to this theater. The abominable snowman dares you. We dare you. Dare you to see the abominable snowman of the Himalayas.
In the vibrant chaos of Kathmandu in September 1960, amidst a Hindu festival honoring Indra, Desmond Doig, a 40-year-old British mountaineer, journalist, and photographer, found himself amidst drums, flutes, and dancing deities. He was there not for the festival, but on a mission for the 1960-61 Silver Hut expedition, led by the renowned Edmund Hillary. Doig's true quarry was the elusive Yeti, a creature existing somewhere between myth and reality for the Nepalese, who called it Ban Manchuru, and for the Western world, the abominable snowman. The 1950s and early 60s were gripped by a frenzy for the Yeti in the West. This obsession had been fueled by legendary mountaineer Eric Shipton's photos of alleged Yeti tracks in 1951, and Hillary's own discovery of blue-black fur in 1952, identified by his Sherpa porters as belonging to a Yeti. With most of the world now explored after 2 world wars and Hillary's Everest ascent, the desire for undiscovered territories and mysterious creatures intensified. The belief in the Yeti stretched back to pre-Buddhist religions. But Western mountaineers brought these local legends to global attention. As the race to conquer Everest heated up, so did the reported Yeti sightings, captivating Western audiences eager for news of this evolutionary hangover. The idea of unknown beings surviving in the wilderness, and that such wild places still existed, offered a strange comfort. The Yeti legend was so powerful that in 1953, the British newspaper The Daily Mail launched an expensive expedition to Nepal, though it failed to find any proof. This simply meant that in 1960, the hunt was still on. According to Graham Hoyland, mountaineer and author of Yeti, An Abominable History, the Yeti was not considered mythical at the time. He points to an official 1947 Nepali government memo, republished by the American Embassy in 1959, detailing regulations covering mountain climbing expeditions in Nepal relating to Yeti, which even stipulated that Yeti hunts required permits, and that killing a Yeti was only permissible in self-defense. This context made Hillary's Yeti hunt a plausible, not fantastical, endeavor. Thus, on September 10th, 1960, the Hillary expedition, a serious, well-funded, and professional undertaking backed by the World Book Encyclopedia, set out into the Rolwelling Valley. This location was chosen due to reported Yeti sightings by Sherpas and its proximity to Mount Makalu. The 9-month expedition had a dual purpose: to search for the Yeti, and afterwards, to study the effects of long-term high-altitude exposure on human fitness. The team included seasoned explorers like Peter Mulgrew and Wally Romanis from Hillary's Antarctic expedition, American space physiologist Dr. Tom Nevison, glaciologist Barry Bishop, and experts seemingly perfect for a Yeti hunt, Marlin Perkins, director of the Lincoln Park Zoo, and Dr. Larry Swan, a self-described Himalayanist. Their goal was to examine local stories, tracks, and alleged Yeti body parts to either confirm or disprove the legend. Doig's ambition was to capture a live snowman, while Hillary, according to Doig, was more skeptical. believing there is precious little in civilization to appeal to a Yeti. Sherpa legends described 3 distinct species of ape-like Yetis dwelling at high altitudes. The Dzute, a 6 to 8 foot bear-like creature with various hair colors, was largely vegetarian, but could use its long claws for hunting cattle. The Myrte was a 2-legged man-sized creature with black or red hair and a long mane over its eyes. Lastly, the Thelma was a sad-faced, dwarf-sized beast found in dense forests below 10,000 feet. The significant firepower carried by the explorers, capture, tranquilizer guns, rifles, shotguns, tear gas pistols, and light arms, demonstrated a cautious approach to the potentially dangerous, yet possibly non-existent, animal. Doig wrote that while they didn't wish to shoot one, they carried conventional rifles for self-defense, as Yeti accounts often described them as extremely savage. However, the team never had to defend themselves. The closest they came to a Yeti encounter was finding strange footprints in the snow. These prints, 20 to 30 inches apart, seemed to be made by naked human feet, size 11s or even 15, broad across the instep, fallen arches, and a big toe that protruded inward. Hillary dismissed them as tracks from snow leopards or wolves, demanding a lot more convincing proof. Doig, Swan, Perkins, and others documented the prints with sketches, measurements, photographs, and plaster casts. It soon became clear that the prints weren't from a mysterious creature, but from the hot sun distorting the tracks of much smaller, ordinary animals. With the footprints debunked, the remaining proof consisted of relics that locals eagerly sold at high prices. A Yeti hand from a Pangboche monastery was revealed through analysis of a photograph to likely be a human hand strung together with wire. Similarly, the numerous Yeti skins shown to the expedition, mostly blue-black with a white stripe, were widely agreed to belong to the Tibetan blue bear. The most challenging pieces of evidence to disprove were 3 Yeti scalps kept in local monasteries. After much negotiation, Hillary obtained permission to take one scalp abroad for a month for scientific examination in Paris, Chicago, and London. Before the scientific tour, Hillary publicly stated, "I have never believed in the existence of the snowman." However, he acknowledged the scalp was a convincing sort of specimen and hard to explain, likely out of respect for the Sherpa people who revered it as a Yeti scalp. Ultimately, scientists concluded the scalp was likely a fake, possibly fashioned from the skin of a seru, a goat-like creature. Hillary later wrote in High in the Thin Cold Air that despite the desire to believe, the universal collapse of the main evidence forced his expedition members to view the Yeti as no more than a fascinating fairy tale. The question remained, if Hillary doubted the Yeti's existence, why embark on the hunt? Ed Douglas, author of Tenzing, Hero of Everest, suggests the headline-grabbing Yeti hunt was a clever way to secure funding for the expedition's research component. The Yeti was a useful marketing tool, Douglas wrote, implying Hillary's belief in it was primarily for PR. Graham Hoyland, who claims to have encountered a Yeti footprint in Bhutan, disagrees. He believes Hillary, like any mountaineer, would eagerly pursue such an opportunity. Regardless of whether Hillary's Yeti hunt was a PR stunt or a genuine quest, not everyone was satisfied by the expedition's findings, which coincided with the waning public belief in the Yeti. Doig, ever the romantic, wrote in High in the Thin Cold Air, "I hope we are wrong about the Yeti. There certainly is something in the high Himalayas to spark the descriptions of a shaggy red monster walking usually on 2 feet. Yet as the last of the expedition's tents were struck and the scientists packed their instruments, a quiet whisper seemed to linger on the Himalayan winds. A whisper not of evidence or disproof, but of ancient possibility. For even as the world settled into its certainty, high above, where the clouds kissed the highest peaks, the shadows still danced with untold secrets. And sometimes, just sometimes, a lone curious Sherpa, or a mountaineer with a soul open to wonder, would catch a fleeting glimpse, a print deeper than any known animal, a rustle in an impossibly high thicket, or the faint echo of a call that belonged to no creature listed in any scientific journal. The Yeti perhaps had simply chosen to remain unseen, a guardian of the wild, untamed heart of the world, forever a shimmering myth in the thin, cold air, waiting for hearts bold enough to believe.